Well, Grace Blomstedt on the left, Kate Walker on the right. I think everybody kind of knows these two faces over the years. Been talking with ADs lately, but since these two kind of have been running the Red Oak Girls Athletic Department the last 4 years, thought we'd talk with them. Kate has gone to, this will be her 15th state appearance in her 4 years, going to the state tennis tournament, and for Grace it's 11, so 26 combined. That's when we include team tennis as one and individual and doubles as another. So we're going to start out in 2012 and kind of work our way all the way and talk about those. 2012, Kate, you went in individual tennis for the first time, and well, what do you remember from that?
Mainly just nerves. I remember playing my first round match. I think I lost it, but I was really nervous that match, and pretty much the whole day of singles I was super nervous until the team joined me.
There's an interesting story about Grace. Grace wasn't playing at state tennis that year, but she had the emotions of someone who was.
So Kate was in her third match. She went to a tiebreaker. We were inside, so we were up top, so we could see the lines and everything. And her girl was cheating. She got a couple questionable calls, so Kate ended up losing. And I started crying, and then she wasn't crying until she saw me cry, and then she started crying, and then. We had a crying fest.
Do you remember the name of that girl? Call her out right now.
No.
No, but that's kind of set the stage for many, many years. You crying. I mean, not that you always cry, but it's just like you guys are. Like you said, you're of one mind.
Yeah, kind of. Like I knew when you wanted to do this, like she wouldn't be up earlier. Like I just know what she likes.
Okay, let's go to that team tennis that year. Do you guys, either of you, whoever wants to take this one, what do you remember from that team tennis that year?
I just remember our two seniors, Adrienne Mahoney and Abby Swanson, were super fun. Abby had a hat that had the actual time running on it, so we just had a ton of fun that year. And then I also remember we didn't do very well at state. We ended up getting fourth, but I remember Grace had a really tough match in the final, or in the consolation round, and she cramped up, so Adrienne Mahoney had to play doubles with me, and we were actually winning, but Grace cramped up really bad, so it's kind of funny to think back on it now, but it was bad at the time.
Okay, and that was just the start. That was just the tennis that year, and then things just kind of start rolling in the fall of 2013 with the volleyball team. Your sophomore year, I think freshman year you lost in a regional final, maybe to Harlan, but Angie Montgomery, I remember her talking about this year after your season ended about how you, Kate, kind of came out of nowhere that year in volleyball and just kind of exploded. What happened?
Honestly, I'm not really sure, because I didn't think I was going to get a varsity suit freshman year, but I ended up getting one and played a little bit, like just kind of bench warmer. And then sophomore year, I worked hard in the summer, and Grace was already a starter, so I thought, I'll be up there with Grace. And then I just started to hit the ball.
What do you remember from your first state appearance? I remember, I think that was the Ice Arena maybe, MOC Floyd Valley, Alexis Conaway, and you took a set off of them.
Oh yeah, I remember taking that set. I think, did we take the second?
I think so.
I don't know, it was like a really good feeling. We're like, okay, we're still in this. We went into it because we felt good because we were the 6th seed and they were only the 3 seed, but all the newspaper polls said they were going to win it anyway, so that was, that always is a good feeling.
And we move into the winter. Red Oak basketball had not been to state in 90 years, and the person who told me that was, or I don't know if you told me that, but the person I found it out was from you, Grace. Somehow you knew the last time they went was 90 years. Is that something you had always looked at?
No, but Coach had told us. But we do have that one. We have a banner that says 1923, and he kept telling, that's only an invite, so...
And you had unfortunate chance to play Davenport Assumption. Everybody, I think they were the best team in any class that year. Maybe. What do you say about that appearance, Kate?
Yeah, I would say they were definitely the best team in any class. They kind of scared us right from the start. Wasn't a pretty game at all, but it was a fun experience.
That was also a interesting thing that your tennis coach takes over as the basketball coach, and I don't even know if you were alive the last time he coached basketball. Coached boys basketball, took him to state a couple times. What was that? What was it like for Coach Martinez to take over there?
I think it was a little different than tennis, obviously. Like, tennis is a little more laid back, so we didn't really get we weren't very crazy at practice or anything, which we kind of thought would hurt us, but we had enough, like, talent. Like, we had Blake and Kate, and they, like, know basketball, so I just think that's what helped us.
Is, like, really smart, like, with plays and in the game. He knows, like, when to take timeouts, who to sub at what time, so he's just super smart with that kind of stuff.
Well, let's go, I guess, to next in the spring you go into tennis again. Did you get fourth that year, third or fourth that year? You got fifth, okay. So remember much from that? And then I think it was a runner-up team title too, or team for the team title.
Yeah, I remember my individual singles. I played the eventual state champion, Haley Resnick, who beat me last year too in the championship, and that was a third set tiebreaker, I think, so it was really close too. So that was kind of heartbreaking to lose that, but then again, I had the next 2 days to come back and play with the team and regain my confidence.
And Grace goes to state in doubles for the first time with Zoe Baker. Zoe Baker, what was that? You got fourth.
Yeah, we got fourth. I don't think we were seeded going in. I don't really remember, but I know we were happy with making it to, because if you win two the first day, you don't have to play a third. So that was always a goal because you don't want to play as much as you can. So, so I think we were happy with our performance, and I think we met our goals.
Then we go to the next year, 2014, and volleyball again, and Kemper. You played Kemper at state. You played Kemper the first game of the season too. So I mean, you first and last game of the year. That had to be one of your toughest losses.
Yeah, it was definitely hard because we thought we could get them. In our heads, we thought we were going to win, but we just weren't playing our best. They played really well, and it was hard, especially with the seniors, because we had like 3 seniors that were really fun on that team too.
Remember much about it?
I remember we were down very early in that first game, and it was bad. I was like, well, I'm glad Kemper's playing good because we're not. But, we fought back that game. We, didn't lose by 15 like we were down. And then we put up a little fight, but I think it was just too late. We dug ourselves too big of a hole.
Let's go to the next one was a new one for the spring. Kate, you went out for track. Where the heck did you decide to go out for track?
Well, I've always been one to just run on my own for fun, so I kind of figured, might as well give it a try. Might be decent at it, so I decided to do it.
And kind of the going back and forth with tennis and track, and I think tennis you had to pick a primary or whatever. What was that like for you for the first time having to shuffle through a couple sports?
Yeah, it was definitely a little complicated. I had to go from a tennis meet to a track meet a few times, but it was a fun experience, and I just really enjoyed running, and it was cool to surprise myself in something. And
your state track experience last year, I know you didn't run your favorite event, but you placed in the 1500. Did you run the 3000 too?
No.
Oh, okay.
I ran the 1500. I could never run the 3000. But I ran the 1500, got 6th, and I ran a really good time. I surprised myself there, so I was just really happy with my whole track performance.
You said you could never run the 3000. Save that comment for just a second, because I think you could. Tennis that year, Grace. What were you thinking when Kate was going out for track and going shuffling back and forth? What was going through your head?
It was just, I knew she'd be successful at track because she's just really athletic, so she's fast. It's fine. It's annoying, but it's fine. But we missed her at tennis practice a lot, but thankfully we still had Erica and Paige, and then we could all hit with each other, and it was good competition. That's one thing that we missed, having her at practice, but she has a court in the backyard of her house, so she plays whenever, if she needs to play, she's going to play, so we didn't really worry about her. But yeah, we did miss her some meets when she went to track meets, because if it was not the best opponent, that's where she went. So
would you what do you remember from tennis that year? State tennis. You had a new doubles partner, Erica Sherman. So, this is starting to get a little eerie. You go to state in doubles with another partner. You must be pretty good at doubles tennis.
Well, I like doubles. It's not that I don't like singles, but I just like doubles. I just like the way to move, how with each other when to move back, and I just really like the net. I don't know, I just like the fact of you're not there on your little island by yourself. You have a companion.
Kate, with so many success stories that Red Oak and you have had, I talked about Kemper being a big heartbreaker. You suffered a couple of heartbreakers in that tennis season as well.
Yeah, the state final was definitely a heartbreaker. I knew I would be competitive with that girl, and she's a super nice girl, so if you want to lose to someone, you want to lose to a nice girl that deserves it. So she definitely deserved it, but it was just really heartbreaking to lose that third set.
And then the team tennis, I mean, the closest I think Red Oak had been in ever, maybe.
Yeah, I know the boys won one championship, and that's Martinez's only one, so we wanted to get it for him, but we just we didn't quite get it that day.
It's better to have heartbreakers in state finals than before state, obviously. Moving on to the fall, Kate said she couldn't run a 3,000, but apparently she can run 13 miles or whatever it is. It feels like 13 miles watching them run. Yeah, so I mean, you're running that cross country. Suddenly you're out for cross country. What the heck's going on?
That was just a thing, like, someone mentioned it to me, like, what, are you going to do cross country now? And it kind of popped into my head. I was like, well, I might try it. I don't think it was my sport, but it was a unique experience, and I had a lot of fun with it.
You went to state in it as well. What was that like?
Well, the district meet was super tough. It was muddy. People were flying everywhere, falling. I fell. But it kind of gave me more adrenaline just to get up there because we were having fun with it too, with mud flying everywhere. So that was tough. And then once we made it to state, it was total shock. And I think it was really exciting for the other girls that aren't in basketball and volleyball because they had never been to a state tournament or state, like they hadn't had that experience. So I think it was just all around good for everyone.
Yeah, Red Oak, not just you went, the whole team went last year, as did the boys. So it was a great fall in cross country. And then volleyball, third straight year you go again, and heck of a regional final. Sometimes I feel like the moments getting to state are better than actually being at state. Was that crazy to say?
No, that game was crazy, and there were so many moments that I was like, yeah, I'll never forget that. And usually that's the case, but this year we actually won a game at state, so then those moments were good too. So yeah, I would say like getting to state, since we had never actually got our first win at state, the moments getting there were always more special.
How, at state this year, you had a real good opportunity to possibly even go to the state championship. I mean, maybe would have had a shot at that as well.
Yeah. After our first game, we kind of thought like, wow, we could actually like pull a Harlan and win the whole thing. So we were confident going into that semifinal, but who did we play? Mount Vernon was just a better team that day.
I think you won the first set, though, right? Yeah, so I was starting to think, hey, I might be here for a doubleheader with the Red Oak and Harlan. But nonetheless, great volleyball season goes into a great basketball season. And I think, your junior year, your team was really, really good when Blake Bergeron was healthy, and that was like a top 5 team. So I think there were some questions about who's gonna fill that third spot. Did you guys have that kind of question, or were you pretty confident?
Oh, going into it, I think we had that question. We hadn't had very successful attended open gyms in the summer because we had afternoon slots, so no one really goes. So that's a weird time, and coach doesn't understand that. So, but I think into the first couple weeks of practice, I think we kind of realized, we have some people that are willing to step up, especially in the freshmen, and then in Michaela Taylor, and everyone that played was good, but they made the biggest improvement, I think.
Yeah, that regional final with Kemper was also a thriller, maybe the best game I saw all year. Can you talk about that game, and then maybe the experience at basketball state than when you were a sophomore? And I think you probably knew you weren't gonna. I don't know if you were gonna beat Assumption.
Yeah, well, before that game, Coach Martinez pretty much told us, like, even if we play our best, we might not win. So, like, you just got to go have fun with it. But the regional final this year was crazy. I could tell you every play probably just from memory. But going to state, making it there, we took a big step. And I think we were pretty confident we could win that first game, but we knew it was going to be tough. And then, we always get beat by the state champions, so you can't really complain about that. But we just gave them a run for their money kind of in the second half, but just started too slow.
What do you remember most from that, maybe just the whole basketball season?
Probably the Kemper game. I just remember we'd have some games and we wouldn't be necessarily playing our best, but then Michaela Taylor would shoot lights out, and we're like, okay. I mean, I remember two of the most memorable moments were from, three. Okay, two of them were from Kemper. The first game, having them beat us in a last-second shot. But then we got our revenge at the end of the season, so that was fun. And then another one is when I lost my contacts at the Shenandoah game in the regionals. So,
Did you keep playing?
Oh yeah, the ref said 20 seconds, you're taking a timeout, and I was shooting free throws, so I just put those suckers in.
We were all like screaming at the student section, like, anyone have solution? They're like, no, sorry.
So you played with some blurry eyes the rest of the way. Then we go to track, and there was some stuff there with track where we didn't know if you're going to be able to run and what was going to happen. People don't realize that if you had skipped tennis, you forfeit your spot. You forfeit because not injury or illness, you would have forfeited tennis. So you had to play tennis pretty much. I guess making that decision, some might have said, well, she knew it was, they knew what time they got to play or whatever. But can you take us through that whole thing?
Yeah, it was kind of a mess, but we thought since I had a chance to place in the 800, we thought it would be just really nice for me to have that chance, and Coach Martinez was totally for it. Like, he was really supportive about the whole thing, and he wanted me to run it. So obviously I was going to play tennis no matter what, because I couldn't do that to my team, and we knew we had a shot to beat Shan, so I wanted to play. And then we were asking Shan if they could move it back a couple hours just so I could run my 800 and I wouldn't run the 1500. And then it kind of, I don't really know what happened, but they weren't going to do it, and then they just decided to last minute. So we're really thankful that they changed their minds.
And you got, you got a place in the 800, and you got another school record as well. How was this? Were you happy to just be able to run your favorite race there at state?
Yeah, I was super happy just to see what I could do in the 800 with good competition, because, I mean, at the Hawkeye 10 meet you have good competition, but that's about the only meet, and at the end of the season's when you're going to be running your fastest, so I wanted to run it.
Third doubles partner in 3 years at state. Let's talk about those three girls. What are the differences and their similarities?
Well, one thing I remember was Zoe's, but this might have just been because I was a sophomore and I didn't really hit the ball very hard. But one thing I remember with Zoe is she would always be super aggressive, and sometimes it didn't work, but a lot of times it did, and she could hit those winners that I cannot hit. And then that's one thing I remember about her. Then you go to Erica. And Erica, I think I'm kind of just not the hard hitter out of all three of them. They can all hit winners, and I can sometimes if I'm lucky, but Erica was a little bit better at the net than Zoe, but she didn't hit the winners as much as Zoe. And then Michaela, we've only played together like 15 times, which doesn't sound like a little amount, but over 4 years, it's not a big amount. And I'd say Michaela can do the lob game with me, which is my favorite, and she has good first serves when we need them, and she can pull through. Like at that Hawkeye 10 when we were down love 40, she served out that game, and forever grateful.
Who's your favorite?
I don't know if I can say that, but I can honestly say that they were all like good friends, and that makes it easy too.
Kate, you lost to the Resnick girl as a sophomore and as a junior, and really, I mean, it could have gone either way, obviously. And now this year, you're kind of thinking, okay, she's gone, right? She's gone. And then Romania comes along, and you're the number 2 seed. So you've seen her play. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, that's just kind of the way it works sometimes. But the Denison girl is the Romanian girl, whatever you want to call her. She's super good, so I know that's going to be a tough match. Hopefully, I make it that far. But I know just with my conditioning, a lot of people at state aren't used to like playing that much and having that much exercise, so I feel like I can hang with anyone.
Now that we've reached the 26 combined state events, I just want to, do you guys even realize when you're doing this? I mean, for you, first of all, for you, Kate, you went to state in 5 sports this year. Does that resonate with you yet?
It really doesn't. I think Grace told me that like before the regional final basketball game. She said like, wow, if we win this, like you'll probably make it in 5 sports. And it's kind of like, oh, that's weird, but it hasn't really hit me yet. And
you had 11 of them. Does that I mean, in your head, are you thinking, no, I mean, some girls are happy to go one time.
Yeah, no, we're super lucky, and we don't realize it because we just go out there to have fun most of the time. Like, we don't really expect to get to where we go, but I know we are lucky because there's a lot of girls that try really hard and they work really hard and they just don't necessarily get to go where we go.
For you two, are you your best friends and you've grown up together? And what's it gonna be? I mean, what's life gonna be like without Kate alongside with you, or Kate or Grace alongside with you?
Well, we'll be thousands of miles apart, and which will be refreshing. We had like every class together for like 2 years, so that gets to be a lot too. And you go to the sport practice after school too. But I mean, we'll have FaceTime dates.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And if she plays in Bowling Green, which is like an hour from my college, I'm gonna go to her game because she did the other year. So
yeah, it's gonna be really different because I see Grace every day, half the day, sometimes the whole day. We get on each other's nerves really easily, but it's also been awesome just to have someone. I mean, she's obviously good at sports, so that helps. It's been really nice for me, and then she's also just a good person.
Well, I think Shenandoah fans will be happy to see you graduate, but I'm not going to be happy because you two have been just a joy to cover. Thank you so much, and good luck to you later this week.
thank you.